A2Z across LC with your hosts, Jeff Alsman and Cody Zipman.
Well, hello again, and welcome to the A2Z Across LC podcast. My name is Jeff Alsman. I'm the A part. Cody Zipman is the Z part. He's here as well, and we've got what we think is a great show.
Gonna be an awesome show.
Gonna be an awesome show.
It's such a good show that we gotta hustle in this intro
because we want to get right to the important stuff. So.
You got the Herminator with the drone piloting, or we could call him the Drone Ranger. Maybe I'm gonna see what everyone he likes. I might go with Drone Ranger. What do you think?
Well, we should first of all, out of respect, say it's Carl Herman, who's an instructor.
Yes, Carl Herman.
And he's going to be telling us about a drone piloting course.
That's going to be a cool intro.
That's coming up in September. That's going to be cool. And then we've got our first allotment of Alumni Alley. We've got Mike Vaccaro, a former Lewis and Clark student, baseball player. He's got some amazing stories to tell to kind of give us an idea of what he's done since being a student here at Lewis and Clark.
And I think you're going to like him. I think you're going to like him. That guy brings a lot of energy. I podcasted with him for years on the hockey side, and he's got some pretty cool stories working over with the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, cannot wait to hear about that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. And you've got some excitement going too. You've got some students that are coming back right around the corner.
Next week, I got my men and women's soccer teams coming back on campus. I got my volleyball team coming back on campus. Golf's right after that. And then a few weeks after that, the rest of my 4 teams are coming back. I'm so fired up about this year. I think we're going to make some runs. I'm fired up about the coaching staff. I'm fired up about the kids. I'm fired about what's going on. I just can't sit still.
We need to get you a little Benadryl or something.
A little bit. Or we need to take a break so we can get this show started.
Let's do that. You want to take us out?
We are
LC A2Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark. I got my start in the radio program that put me on the path to where I am today. We still do radio, but now we're so much more. Podcasting, producing, and editing, not to mention new equipment, studios, courses, and a new name. If you want to work in professional media or create better content for the things you love, do like I did and discover your path at Lewis and Clark Community College. Enroll today at lc.edu.
And welcome back to the A to Z Across LC podcast. Jeff Alsman here. Cody Zipman is here as well. And
yeah, I'm in here, partner.
Cody, I'm glad to see you're so excited and upbeat. We have a great segment planned for
the Drone Rangers here.
Absolutely. We are getting ready to start a new program here on the campus of Lewis and Clark in September. It is a drone piloting course, and we have with us Carl Herman, who is the instructor of that course. And Carl, welcome to the A to Z Across LC podcast.
Thank you.
Good to have you with us, and we're excited because this flying drones looks like so much fun just to do it. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than just the fun part. There's the commercial part. There's the official need for law enforcement part, and I'm sure you're going to tell us all about that. But welcome to the program. Give us an idea of your background, and then kind of bring us into the program, if you would.
I have been a teacher. This is my 27th year I've gone into. I've been with Lewis and Clark since around 2010, 2011 as an adjunct also for the physics department and teaching in the P-Tech program, most recently teaching astronomy. At the high school level where I'm at, we got approached a few years ago to bring a drone course to the students. So CrossFlight Sky Solutions came in and they trained a number of teachers across the district, I being one of them. And since that time, I've been offering a drone pilot certification course. After the first year, the police officers that were in my building contacted me and asked if I would train the officers at the Hazelwood Police Department. And so we put together a training program, and in that time, over 2 years, I have trained 12 different police officers, and every one of them is now a certified pilot. So their goal was to make sure that there are always 2 officers on every shift that can put a drone in the air in case of need, whether that be an accident reconstruction or something going on that they need an eye in the sky. It's a lot cheaper and time-wise to be able to put a drone up that's in the trunk of a car than to call for a helicopter to come in. It's just the wave of the future. If you watch the news, you're going to see a lot of the police departments that are over in St. Louis County, St. Charles County, they're all getting drone units. And I wanted to bring that over here to the Illinois side so that our people in Jersey County and Macoupin County and Madison County, they have the same opportunities that the people over across the river do. So that was my goal in bringing this to Dr. T and Sue Zerwinski and Tom Steinman. That's how we started to sit down, have these conversations to bring this program into existence. So the course that's going to be starting in September is through workforce development. I believe that Mr. Steinman was able to put this together through that. And it's targeted not necessarily for law enforcement and first responders, but for anybody that really wants that hands-on approach to learn how to operate a drone and the regulations that are required in order to have your license for it. Many times when you take a drone program, you are going to go into a room and you're going to get the same PowerPoint slides. Like, these are the regulations that you need to be able to do to pass the Part 107 exam. What we're going to do is going to be a little bit different. You're going to get those same regulations, but then throughout the course, you're going to actually have the controllers for a drone in your hand. You're going to learn how to take off. You're going to learn how to land. You're going to learn how to fly it in patterns, such as a figure eight and a square and a circle, facing the center, facing a wall. And then we're going to go from the trial drones to DJI Mavic Mini Pros 4s, and then we also have a DJI thermal drone that the college has ordered. So all throughout the 32 hours of this training course, you're going to have these different controllers in your hands. You're going to be operating the drone, so you're going to have that comfort that when you get through our program, you're going to be able to select the drone that your organization wants to use, and you're going to be comfortable operating it, versus you just getting your pilot's license and then them telling you, okay, go get a drone. You've never flown it before, and you're just not comfortable doing that. We're going to be working with you all the way.
So my first question that comes to mind is, if I'm in the class, do you have drone insurance?
Yes.
That's my first.
So when you order drones through DJI, they actually come with a refresh program, and that refresh program is for 2 years on that particular drone. So yes.
Okay. So really it's kind of a mix. There will be folks there that are from law enforcement that are doing it for the purposes that they need. But if there's just the weekend guy who wants to be able to put his drone in the air in a non-restricted area and make sure he can bring it down without blowing it up, that all works too. So
yes,
it's
really open to anybody. The law enforcement aspect, the thermal drone that we're going to have is really for law enforcement, first responders, fire departments. That will help with things such as a lost person, for example. You have someone that's missing, you can put a drone up in the air, and because of the thermal imaging, you can search and fly in a grid pattern, and you're actually going to be able to see their heat signature, and you're going to be able to find them faster than somebody that's on the ground. Same thing with a fire department. If you have a fire and you have that drone up in the air over the fire, it's going to show you where the hot spots are, and the fire departments are going to be able to focus their resources in order to extinguish that fire in a much more manageable fashion. Some things that we can be looking into as well is the possibility of working with the refinery. So instead of people having to climb the tanks and the towers, you're going to be able to put the drone up in the air, and you're going to be able to survey the refinery. The insurance industry is big in this area. So having a classroom full of adjusters, for example, instead of having people after a storm having to climb a roof, you can just put the drones and you can take 4K images of any of the damage that's there. The flooding that is coming, you can have the agencies checking the rivers and the Great Rivers Trust. I mean, I can't even.
I mean, it sounds like the opportunities are endless.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I think we should do? I think the A2Z podcast should get our pilot's license. We should go out and look for Bigfoot with that, the heat-seeking
I'm down.
drone.
Sounds like fun. I'm just imagining my first question is the call signs for people. So obviously, Dr. T, when you brought him in, you made him fly all this. Go. You got the T-bird, right? Mm-hmm. That one's easy, right? And then Dr. Sue Zerwinski, yeah? And then should we go, what about Steinman? What would it be?
Now, don't put him on the spot.
Come on, drone. Come on, Drone Ranger. I can't think of this whole time. I'm thinking about these call signs.
Put your own neck out there.
Steiner. I mean, Steiner's easy, right?
Could be.
For sure, but, something with the air. I just remember Captain Mac Douglas. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Captain Mac Douglas. In the background. Now it's just the audio background, right?
Yeah,
but it's a drone.
Clean.
Yeah, clean.
It's awesome.
Gotcha.
It sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure I could do it. Is it how hard is it? How hard is it?
Well, in order to pass the exam, for example, there is a test bank of 240 questions. And when you go to a testing facility, the computer randomly selects 60 questions out of the 240. You must pass with 40 questions right out of 60. You have to have an 80% in order to get your license and pass that exam.
So I'll repeat the question a little bit differently. How hard is it
To fly?
physically? I'm not
To
as
fly.
worried about the paperwork as I am the actual putting it in the air and bringing it back down.
To fly a drone, it is very simple because the drones today have built-in GPS. They have built-in stability. And so it's just you push a button really, and you'll have the drone take off, and then it's going to hover, and you're going to be able to tell the drone with a joystick to, pitch forward, pitch back, roll left, roll right. You're going to have it yaw, which is the twisting motion of it. And once you get that down with your thumbs on the joystick, it's very intuitive to operate the drone.
You're at a certain height.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you lose it. You're not watching it flying. You're watching a screen in front of you.
As the pilot, you are responsible for watching the drone. And that's why whenever you fly legally with a Part 107, you have to have a visual observer with you. You're never alone that's there. So if you happen to be looking down at the screen because you're hired to take pictures of something, you have a visual observer next to you that's got their eyes on the drone at the entire time of the flight until you bring it back in.
So you brought up a key word, which is legally. Talk about when does that apply?
So in order to fly a drone commercially, so for example, let's say you worked for the college. If you worked for the maintenance department or you worked for communications, if you are putting a drone up in the air because it's part of your job, that is considered commercial. You have to have a Part 107 license in order to put that drone up in the air. Even if it's a toy drone, any drone that is used for commercial purpose falls under what's called the Part 107 regulations. If you are flying and it's just a weekend and you're way away from any sort of controlled airspace, then you can fly recreationally. But the drones that we're seeing today that are manufactured by, DJI or Skydio, they know where they're at because of the GPS, and they will lock themselves down. So, for example, if you get a little bit closer to St. Louis, it's going to know that you are in airspace, and you have to unlock the drone. Well, in order to unlock the drone, you have to put in the serial number for the flight controller. You have to put in your information that you have a Part 107 license so that the FAA knows that this drone is in the air, and this is the pilot that is flying it. So when you have a drone, for example, a lot of people don't know this, a drone can't be, it can be owned, I'm just going to say, by Lewis and Clark Community College, but the drone is tied to the pilot. So when these new drones come in, they will actually be tied to me because I've got the Part 107, and you have to go to a federal FAA website. It's called FAA Drone Zone, and you have to register that drone, and it's registered to the pilot, not the institution. So a lot of people don't know that. They think that they can just buy, 10 drones and they're all going to be registered to the college. That's not how it works.
So I want to bring Professor O in because he is the college videographer, and that's a lot of times what these are also used for. So I bet this is fascinating to you. You have such an interest in this. You probably have a lot of questions to.
Yeah, first and foremost, I'm actually not a professor, but that can be.
Did I say professor?
But
I
that
thought I
can
said
be my
producer.
that could be my call sign, right?
Producer, professor.
We'll have to go back and look at the
Professor,
tape.
producer.
He can always edit it
I'm pretty
out.
sure you said professor. We'll go with it, but that can be my
Okay.
call sign.
We're
Yeah.
foreseeing the future.
So there's a lot of great applications with video and film, and so I teach a couple of video courses here on campus, and we do study some of that. And in the kind of the whole backbone of my courses is where we started technology-wise to where we are today. Comparatively speaking, it's super easy now. What in the 80s, if we watch a Die Hard, there's helicopters in it. If they want to get to the side of the
Yippee-ki-yay.
skyscraper, they actually flew a helicopter.
Yeah.
Now they just take a drone up there, and they have a certified drone pilot go, and these cameras are serious cameras, and they're shooting a movie. So yeah, I'm really interested in it too. And my son is into aviation, and he actually has a recreational drone. It's like that big, and so we fly it around the basement, things like that. So it's actually really cool. So no, I'm really excited about that, and I love the thermal camera stuff because I have seen stories where children with autism, and I have a daughter with autism. I'm not afraid to say that on here. But it hits home because they wander off sometimes, and so they've been found. So I think that's awesome. But how are these drones used in cinema? How are these drones? It's pretty common now, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the end of my question.
Yeah. I mean, they are. They've replaced the helicopter because the cost of having a helicopter come out is just astronomical compared to you just putting a drone up in the air. As for the law enforcement purposes, there are companies that are coming out there. One of them is called Brick. I don't know if you guys have seen their commercial or anything for drones. In order to save lives and minimize, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but minimize things that could go wrong, Brick has created a drone that can, if there's a hostage situation that was happening in like a casino in Las Vegas, that drone can fly up to a window. It can shatter the window from the outside. It can fly in. It can go down the hallway, and as it's doing this, it is creating a map of everywhere that it's flown. You can call on a cell phone to this drone, and it can talk to whoever is in that area. So the police can have communication. If somebody smacks that drone out of the air and they knock it down, it has the ability to right itself and put itself back up in the air.
That's the scariest thing I ever heard in my entire life. That's Terminator 2.
Skynet.
So this is the future of what's coming up with the drone technology, and we can be at the forefront of it, or we can watch these other institutions take advantage of this. And that's why I brought this to the college. It's like, let's Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, I
Let's us be the forefront. Let's have people come to us for training.
Be first.
Versus seeing somebody else doing this. That was
Full
my
disclosure.
intention.
I'm taking this course just so everybody knows.
Jeff said the same thing.
I am.
I think
I'm
it'd be
absolutely.
cool.
Yeah. I'm
So
excited.
we haven't talked about when it is, what it costs, that sort of thing.
So the cost right now was set at $500, and it is going to be 7:30 to 3:30 on Saturday and Sunday, the middle weekend and the last weekend of September. So I believe that is the 15th and 16th, and then the 28th and 29th, whatever the last weekend of September is. But those are the dates. And I've been told that breakfast and lunch are included in the cost of the course, as well as all of your materials. So you should be able to walk in and you're going to have the remote pilot study guide waiting for you. That's a book that you're going to get practice tests out of. You're going to have the instruction from me, and then you're going to have training with the drones, from small drones all the way up to, you're actually going to be handling the thermal. So you're going to be very comfortable by the time you finish those 32 hours with handling a drone, being able to take off, troubleshoot the stuff that's there. And then it's the goal that if you do this course and you come on board with Lewis and Clark, that I will become available to possibly go out for site visits to where you are to do advanced training in the future. Not just having people come to campus, but we can go to you.
So how far away, and I don't know if you can answer this, but you just said that drone can go in there, fly in there, get hit and flip on itself and get back up. So higher education, AI, how far are we away from the drone's just its own entity, no pilot?
That I can't answer. I do not know, but it's just a guess. We're probably within 5 years of a drone becoming almost autonomous. You can program it to do. There are programs right now. One of them is called Leachy that will use in advanced training that you will be able to tell the drone exactly what to do, and that can be used for agricultural purposes. It could be used for surveying, whatever, and that drone will take off. It will complete its mission. It will avoid obstacles, and it'll return home and do what it needs to do.
So when you say tell, like not tell like program, but like literally go mow my grass, even though it wouldn't mow, would have flipped upside down. But,
we're not to that point yet, but they have enough AI that's built into it that the drones have. It's called Follow Me.
Okay.
So you could put a drone up in the air, and you could lock it onto you, and then you could get on a four-wheeler or a side-by-side, and that drone is going to follow you wherever you are. So you can get that really cool footage to put on YouTube of
That
yourself.
is cool. Yeah.
One of the other things, too, that these drones will do is they will broadcast. So if you have an event that's coming, like you wanted to have an outside graduation for Lewis and Clark, or you had an event that was taking place that the fire department or police department wanted to watch, that drone would be in the air, and they will live stream directly to a private YouTube channel. And
Wow.
you could stay back and you could watch everything that the drone is looking at.
That's here now?
It's now.
Wow. We
Already
need
been
to talk.
already been using
This
it.
is
So that
is
could be
intriguing.
for our remote podcast.
It could,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking about I need to upgrade for my sports teams.
Yeah.
So that I could fly over like a soccer game. What about in a gym? Could it be in a gym?
It can be in a gym. There are rules with being over people, but also if you're in a gym, you're technically not in airspace. So the FAA has no authorization.
Loophole.
It is a weird
Good thing only
loophole,
3
yeah.
people listen to us.
But when you study the regulations and everything, you're going to learn about flights over people.
Yeah.
And there's different categories and that kind of stuff. But technically, in a gym, you're not in airspace.
I like it. This is cool. This is intriguing. I like
So
it.
I myself have flown during basketball games and other things, and you just stay on the outside. But if you're governed by any sort of
Great guest.
governing body, so for example NCAA or something like
Yeah.
that, then you'd want to make sure it's okay with them to use drones. But I can tell you, I've seen drones used for the NFL.
Yeah.
They're already
Well, they're
there.
all over the sporting
Yeah.
events.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Because you can
Yeah.
get those viewpoints from behind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Very
So
cool.
they're already being used. So
Yeah.
we will be the people that are training the next group. So all of the news stations, for example, Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 5, they've got drone teams now.
Mm-hmm.
So as these people are going through the programs to get on TV and whatever, they're being trained with drone.
Give me a price range real quick because I gotta get fundraising dollars up.
For
I don't know. Maybe I need to have what 2, 3 at least if I need them at my sports if they're going at the
so,
worst.
to give you an idea, a mini,
Yeah.
you're looking at probably right around $1,100 for your price point.
Okay.
And that's going to give you your carrying bag. It's going to give you 3 batteries, and that's going to allow you to be in the air total for about an hour.
Ooh.
So-
Games are longer than that.
But you don't need footage for the entire time. So you decide when you're going to do it. And when you have one battery in use, you could have the others on the charger.
What about a 3-hour limit? How much keeps me in the air and it would just record the whole game?
That would be a possibility. You'd have to get additional batteries,
Okay.
and you have to take it down to change the batteries out. So
All right.
your
Halftime. That's
yeah,
why they build in halftime.
the batteries will last anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes per flight.
Okay.
Well, it's fascinating.
Yes,
and
it
it's
is.
only going to get more
Yep.
fascinating.
That is cool.
So one of the things we do at the end of our segments is, of course, around here, we have the slogan, "We are LC." I'm sure you probably heard that. So that's kind of the way, that's our out cue. So we allow our guest to do the "We are" part of that. So we're going to let you take us out to close the segment. So do you want to count down or you just want to wing it?
You want to
No pun intended.
You want to wing it? That's good.
I can wing it.
Hey!
The drone ranger over here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
The drone ranger says, "We are LC."
LC A2Z.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have discovered my path in occupational therapy assistant. Or criminal justice could have been my thing.
Oh no, it's contaminated.
And we're back, and this is the A to Z podcast here across LC or something similar to that. Jeff Alsman here, Cody Zipman as well, and we're joined in this segment by Mike Vaccaro, and he is a former student here at Lewis and Clark, so he's part of the alumni and part of the baseball team, or
Yep,
past
student athlete,
team,
yeah.
student athlete. So this is our first edition of Alumni Alley, the new segment that we're adding to season 2 of our show. And so we thought we'd bring in some former Lewis and Clark students and find out where they are today and how Lewis and Clark helped them get there, and just kind of see what path they've gone down. So Mike, we want to welcome you to the program. Start off by telling us a little bit about what you did here.
Yeah.
And then kind of bring us up to speed to, what you're doing now.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here first and foremost. It was pretty crazy. I was getting a few looks back in high school at Fort Zumwalt East, and Randy Martz actually came to come down for my visit, and Cody was actually one of the ones that was supposed to come too, but they were getting ready for playoffs at the time. And then all of a sudden, I did my visit to LC, and I loved everything it was about. I saw Zip ripping some absolute massive heater ground balls up the middle to the right side. And
So you're saying he had no power. It was just all infield.
no, the strength was there. That is for sure. But
This is like PFP.
But like he was, and obviously like he's a loud person already. Everybody knows that.
Wow.
But
Energetic.
exactly. Sorry, energetic's the word to use. My apologies. But what I learned is he had kind of the same aspirations that I did, and it was from a grit perspective and from a leadership perspective, and I love that. So I got super excited to join the program. It was day right after I was like, I'm going to do this, and I created some of the best friends that I could have ever asked for coming to this school. So it was a great experience overall here.
What position do you play?
I played second base, came in as a shortstop. I think what really hurt me was we played on all dirt infields in Missouri, and in Illinois it was pretty much all grass infields. So I just wasn't, I don't know if it was laying back too much on the ball or whatnot, but they put me at second base, and ever since they made that change, it was all uphill from there.
It's a lot easier to throw, right?
It is a lot easier to throw, especially when your arm's not the best in the world. so it definitely did, but I let the bat do the talking. So yes sir.
Oh, okay.
I got other people that are listening to this say 300 hitter, whatever.
But you know what? It's sad because these days the 300 hitter doesn't mean anything anymore.
It's all launch angle these days. It's
It
all
is.
everybody talks about.
So how was your launch angle? That's what we should be asking you.
There was not much of a launch angle. There was 2 home runs hit, and they were both in a practice game on the same exact day. So,
So you were launching good that day,
I
and
was.
then you just lost it.
I did. I was never the guy that was trying to hit the ball at the ballpark. And honestly, guys like Zip, he kind of taught me the same process. Like, it's not about how far you hit it. It's about where you put it in the gap. And that's what I try to do. Spray the right side of the field and make things happen, get on base, and let other people drive me in.
I could hit the ball to the wall.
Can you?
For a nice single.
That's all right.
It's like, but then they need to pinch run.
Chicks dig the long ball.
Instead of a designated hitter, I needed to play in a league where they had a designated runner. That's what I need.
There's some leagues.
There is.
There are leagues
for
like that.
the catcher.
Allsy,
Yeah, but I don't want to catch.
No, for the catcher. The catcher gets on base. The catcher comes off. The runner goes out.
I know that's what I'm saying.
So
but
you be the
I don't want to
designated
be
runner.
I don't know. I don't want to be the designated. I need.
You
the
need a
designated
so you
runner.
would be the catcher. Ooh, I don't
What
know.
do you think? I look like Speedy Gonzalez over here, or
I
what?
know back in the day. He told me that.
Not even
Right?
back in the day. I could hit. Well, up to a point. Anyway, enough of that about me. We're talking about you.
Yeah. Let's get it.
Tell us about the time at LC. Fun things, moments that you can say on air to our 1.3 million viewers.
1.3, that's what you're at now, huh? All right, that's awesome. No, honestly, it was just, I feel like I came in at a really good time. I met a lot of really great individuals. I mean, when you come to college, you immediately kind of segregate yourself sometimes with the people that you get along with, but then you realize you need to branch out, talk to other people. And, it wasn't just about the baseball guys. It was about the soccer team at the time, too. We were close with some of the basketball as well. So that was one thing I really did enjoy as we started getting integrated with all the programs. And I feel like that's really hard to find, especially at a community college. And the one thing about Lewis and Clark is I never felt like it was a community college. It actually felt like a 4-year university, which is something that I was, sold whenever I came here. And it was the truth. That's what it felt like for me. Now, I'm a guy from St. Peters, Missouri, and I went to St. Charles Community College for just a half a year after Lewis and Clark. But I will tell you that it definitely was a great feeling being here.
So while you were here, what trajectory course-wise were you on?
Yeah, so I it's going to lead into pretty much everything right here. So I wanted to play baseball my junior year. I had a injury in the playoffs sophomore year that made me think, do I want to take a scholarship elsewhere? Do I want to enter a different career? I was at the time in a non-profit organization for the St. Louis Blues with Levy Restaurants, and Zip kind of manned that as he does today. It was kind of crazy. So I have a mentality of, you never know who's watching. Okay. So no matter if it's on the baseball field when you're hustling or whether it's like at work and you're just getting after it and you're doing your thing, even if it's a volunteer thing, you should still put in your best effort. Because my mindset was I want to get Lewis and Clark back in here for the next year because it grows our program, helps us get, shirts, all these different things. So I did that. There was a lady by the name of Sarah Marsden that had taken an immediate notice and had contacted me first and said, would this be something you'd be interested in full time? And I said, I've never thought about it. I thought it was just a volunteer gig, honestly, at the end of the day. And I said, let me ask my coach. So I called Cody over here and I said, hey, I remember being in the car asking him this question, praying that he was going to, give me the thumbs up. And he goes, Mike, I would never stop you from doing something like that. Like, I appreciate you asking me, but you got my thumbs up and approval on that. And I was just greatly appreciative of him. And from there, I started as like I said, a volunteer. Then I was a runner, a full-time runner, or a part-time runner with the crew. Then I turned into a full-time supervisor. And then from there, turned into a full-time general manager. So ran all the clubs in the arena and worked with a lady by the name of Katie Kozaritz, who I also owe a lot of gratitude to for her tutelage throughout the way. And then I surrounded myself with some of the best people you can surround yourself with, and that is your friends. So I surrounded myself with people like Zip, people like, my brother, just people all around. And it turned it into a powerhouse. It really did. We were a premium operation that ran how a premium operation should run. And the rest is history.
So I need your number to be able to get tickets. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what a lot of people I've been reached out to. I've reached out to a lot of people reached out to me about that. Some have succeeded, some have not. But Halsey, yeah, give me a call.
Yeah,
I want to talk about the high point of this. So we had about 9 supervisors. By the time we were getting to the years where the Blues were constant, hey, we're going to be in the playoffs every year. We're going to make Stanley Cup runs, even though our heart was broken many a time. I think probably the year that we did make the run, we were dead last.
Yep.
And we didn't think it at all.
Yep.
Which there's a side story to that, and us actually placing a bet after we're
wild.
I don't know dead last, 35-1 or something like that. But anyways, 9 clubs, 9 supervisors. Just tell them just the backstory, because it's my appreciation how hard it is to get a hot dog to an individual at a thing and how much that takes, especially when you do it on a scale of like 500.
Yeah, I mean, let's just talk about the overall operation of doing a sporting event, because I don't feel like enough people give it respect. Like, it really is like, these things don't magically show up like the day of the game. There is a lot of prep work.
You just walk up and grab a hot dog.
Exactly. There is a lot of prep work that goes into it. There's guys that are behind the operation. It's not just, a Levy Restaurants thing. It's the St. Louis Blues organization putting on a show and doing all these things, kind of like how you guys are putting on this podcast. Like, it's the same production and whatnot to get it going. Stocking beer. I've watched this man over here, run a crew together, and we were carrying cases of beer up and down a flight of stairs. Like, I've never seen anything like it, but we were doing it. To get ready for those games and for the whole Stanley Cup playoffs, all these different things. Getting a hot dog, taking it down to the seats for service wise. He'd be up in a pantry doing all these different things, like getting it all ready to go. Now, there's so many people that go into this job perspective that do these things that you just don't realize. And some of them you don't see throughout a game. You walk around throughout the arena and you'll never see that person, and they're the back of house workers, but they're honestly the real MVPs in the operation, because without the food that you're putting out and the beverages you're putting out, I mean, it's not a hockey game, it's not a baseball game. But yeah, it was just crazy from my job perspective. That is why I work in staffing sales now, because I love to help people and I love to organize things. I have fantasy football leagues, baseball. I do all these different things. I run them because, 1, I feel like I'm good at it, and 2, I like to keep it organized. And the biggest thing, the third one, is I feel like it really helps keep friendships together. I think that a lot of people lose touch with people over the years. There's a reason why I've been friends with him over here for 14 plus years now, and it's because we don't lose in touch. We always check in on each other, see how we're doing. Friends that I went to, from Triad to Edwardsville, from Tim Messer, Tyler Dart, all these people that I came across throughout the way. Those are the people that helped me with the job with the Blues and the job at Lewis and Clark, and it all ties together. It's crazy. It doesn't happen to everybody, but it happened to me.
So who are some of the people that we would call famous people that you maybe have rubbed shoulders with, or because you're more in the service side industry of it, do you not really get to meet those folks?
No,
Mahi, just let it flow out. All of them. Tell them about the hockey game.
I've been very, very, very lucky to meet some amazing people along the way, from concert artists that work with us directly for their backstage catering. Some great, and some not so great. But also, Wayne Gretzky is hands down one of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. Being down there and actually getting to, speak to him and talk to him, and the genuineness of somebody of that like stature, that's always something that's just incredible. You run into people like Brett Hall all the time. It sometimes is a little interesting, to say the least. Depending went blue. Yes, depending on how much liquor he's had, it's very interesting, to say the least. But and then you got guys like Kelly Chase, who you see on a daily basis, that's down there, who obviously was fighting cancer and is still fighting it to this day. So it's you run into some great people. There's got to be somebody I'm missing that like.
Al McInnes, Martin Brodeur.
Yeah.
My favorite, Doug Armstrong, the silent assassin in the background. How I do my ADing here is watching him over 12 years.
So are you going to get us a defenseman then?
Well, we don't have hockey yet.
Well, okay.
Well, here's
keep working on it. He hasn't have one yet either.
But John Dunn, I will tell you, has solid center backs for a soccer team.
I will tell you, Zip's also famous because during the Stanley Cup run, you will see interviews on ESPN of.
He always tries to get in the camera, I bet.
No, he actually doesn't. He likes to get his product in the camera. So he builds this massive popcorn pyramid, and Barry Melrose and Steve Levy are doing an interview, and right behind them, doing this interview is Zip's massive popcorn.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta see the picture of it. It's phenomenal. But those are the people during the Stanley Cup run. I mean, it was endless. You saw Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, all these different people that
constantly
there. But that was the time. Nelly, obviously St. Louis guy. So yeah, awesome experience that was for sure.
So, and we lived there. Like, so when we were at the Stanley Cup feature, like literally it's 5 a.m.
Yes.
to 1, 2, 3 in the morning.
And then do it again.
Yeah, and the thing about it was the media that came into that whole bottom, the event level.
Yes.
Like it just turns into it's all black carpets and pipe and drape and everything else, and they live there 24/7, and you're just in with them, talking to them. So it's really wild how we see them on TV and you think there's a separation, but then when you're in person, they're just like another person that we're doing a podcast right now.
Yep.
Hey, can I get that? I mean, nice. Okay, All-Star game, nice one with Bettman. The cart guy, he runs into him twice.
There's nothing worse, folks, than running into the commissioner of the NHL with a cart, and he looks up and goes white as a ghost completely. I mean, I feared for my job too. He was on my staff, so Zip comes running up. He goes, "Nice Wonger just ran into Bettman with the cart," and I turn white as a ghost because I'm like, okay, do we need to call someone?
Is he all right? Nah, he's a hockey player.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it was the Stanley Cup, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit more here in just a second. That was second to none. What an experience that was.
Go ahead.
Well, the funny thing about the year, Jeff, is that I want to tell you is how at the peak of that sport that you could be, okay, so all clubs running, the Blues organization doing great, everybody that's a part of hockey is running, and then what are we, a few months later, and then the world shuts down. So we're at the peak. We were Stanley Cup, and then coming off that fall year, we're hosting the All-Star game. Mm-hmm. So it's all these events coming. The building's been updated over 3 years, basically. And then out of nowhere in March, it's shut down, and then we're have all different kinds of situations, which what we kind of talk about now when we go over there, you're always looking for people.
Yeah. What it came down to at the end of the day, it was, decisions me and you both had to make, and a lot of people had to make in general. I mean, we were working 60-hour work weeks a lot of times.
That was my part-time job.
Yeah, and that was his part-time job, so I can only imagine how he was feeling throughout that process. But that's what it came down to as well was, from a mental perspective, like sometimes you got to make the right decisions. You lose some time with family when you're doing certain jobs, and sometimes you kind of lose the kindling of those friendships. And there was one day that I actually have a Lewis and Clark fantasy football league, and it's guys that I all graduated with, and even guys that graduated the year afterwards. And we actually have our draft in 20 days. A lot of people don't have those experiences, and I lost touch with like 4 or 5 of those people, and that was the moment I was kind of like, okay, I want to, at the end of the day, I kind of want to start doing a 40-hour work week job, and if I have to pick up something part-time, I will. And that's kind of why it was hard to walk away from Levy and the Blues, 100%. But sometimes you got to make the decisions that are, best for yourself.
But I noticed when you walked away, you took with you a very nice
I did.
parting gift.
It was a really, really awesome parting gift to say the least.
Tell us about what we're seeing on the screen now.
Yes, you were seeing a 2019 Stanley Cup championship ring that I was 110% not expecting to get. The Blues called us in for a dinner. It was like a breakfast brunch, lunch kind of thing. And I remember like sitting there thinking like, oh, like it's going to be awesome. I'm going to get like a small little replica ring or something like that. Cause they put these things in front of us and I was excited nonetheless. It's an honor. And then all of a sudden they tell us all to open it. And my face just like everybody in the room just gasped because they couldn't believe what was in front of them. The fact that Levy, the Blues, especially the Blues organization, including Levy, which they don't have to do in that whole process, I was stunned. I worked my tail off to make sure that everything was done correctly and done right throughout the process. And, being me, I was kind of like sad that some of the people that worked underneath me throughout the time didn't get the chance to, experience it. But the amount of people that were happy for me and loved seeing it and being like around it and whatnot, that was so cool. I mean, that's that stuff's second to none is when your friends and your family are so excited for you. And yeah, it was an awesome experience and getting that, being able to wear it like whenever June 12th, that thing is on my finger every day.
Yeah.
So, or every hour. So I'm speechless talking about it because it's still, I open it. I showed somebody that I work with today that had never seen it and they're like, how? Why?
I love it.
Are you kidding me? And I
love it.
Yep. It was just very honored, and it means a lot to me for sure.
An LC alum is a Stanley Cup winner.
Isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
And he has that story. That's why I love it, is the fact that no matter what, he's always going to have
Oh,
that.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes. This made it a little easier to walk away for sure. A little bit easier.
You went out on top.
We went out on top. There's no doubt about that. Went out on top.
Yes. So that'll never be on eBay.
No. Somebody actually told me that the other day. I'm like, yeah, why would somebody want my last name on the side of a ring? I don't get that, but I mean, I guess.
Yes. Well, it sounds like you have had quite a few adventures since you left Lewis and Clark.
I have definitely. The best honor that I just had was I actually was inducted into the Ford Zumwalt East Baseball Hall of Fame about a year ago. Sorry, was it 6 months ago actually? That was another thing. It's just, when you have these things and what you guys are doing, like you guys are keeping up with, what's going on. Ford Zumwalt East, second to none kind of thing. Like you're keeping a Hall of Fame for kids that used to go here. Like that makes it even more like those kids that are playing high school ball right now, they're going to fight even harder because they want to be there one day. They want to have their name, honored. When I played baseball for Ford Zumwalt East in 2006, 2007, not a chance did I think that they were going to have a Hall of Fame, or nonetheless, I was going to be a part of it. So, again, another honor throughout time and another adventure, as you would say, too.
Well, it's a tough ticket to get on the A2Z podcast, just so you know.
It feels good.
You're the first one of the Alumni Alley.
This is a professional place, too. I mean, you got...
Heck yes, professional. This is bad boy. They do it right here.
Hey. Can we get like the full shot to put up there so folks can kind of see how cool that is? Look at it.
It's got a little case action here. Look at that.
Boom. Open the case to your future.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
I built this room.
Here we go.
So thank you.
Hey, yeah, congratulations, man.
Well,
real.
me
This
and a
is
guy
sweet.
named Dave Karras built this room, but he's retired and he's not here. I built this room.
Shout out, Dave.
Yeah.
Shout out, Dave.
So our tradition, as we let you go, now we are all LC, and so we have the "We Are LC" slogan. And what we do here is we let our guests say "We are," and that takes us out to our theme. So, Mike Vaccaro, do you want a announcement, a countdown? How would you want before you scream "We are"?
Give me a countdown.
5, 4, 3.
That's a long countdown.
2, 65, 64, 60. No, I'm trying to get it, Mikey.
We are LC.
LC A to Z.